All right, Shalom. We're going to start by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory
to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakadash.
Yahweh being the true, holy, and powerful name of the Heavenly Father. Bahashem meaning in the name. Yahushai being the Heavenly Father's only begotten Son of the word ignorantly calls Jesus. And Chakadash being the Holy Spirit that speaks to us so we can divide this word correctly and directly, and we can understand the words that the Lord has given to us through His scriptures. We also want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and say shalom to the whole elect out there pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, striving their best to do what's right in the eyes of the Lord. But in this lesson, we're just going to go into something through the Spirit. I had seen this article earlier. It's going into this dude and what he had to say about the digitization of everything. And this is the direction that the society is moving towards, right? The world is moving towards is the digitization of everything, right? Which includes what is spoken about in Revelations 13 and 16.
I can grab that.
For you.
I got you. I got it right. Sure. This
You want to grab it in the blue letter? That way we can go into the...
yeah. This Revelation 13 and verse 16. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads."
Mm-hmm. And that beast is Esau Edom's system, the so-called white man, right? He's going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive this mark, right? Mm-hmm. Which goes into the CHIP that he's going to want to put within everybody's bodies, right? Yeah. He talks about Esau talks about subdermal tracking, right? Mm-hmm. This is what he wants to push forth across the four corners of the earth, so he can have that total control, right? But this is already written in the scriptures. It was written in the scriptures around 2,000 years ago that this was going to take place, and we're seeing steps towards this prophecy being fulfilled.
Yeah, just to also add, when you go into the word causeth, one of the definitions was constitute, which mean. It says constitute. When I looked it up earlier, one of the definitions was constitute. Let me just verify real quick.
Just a quick point.
Yeah.
He said that he was going to cause all, which is he's going to make this mandatory.
Yeah.
So he's going to put it within his system.
Yeah. Which goes into the word constitute because it means established by law. So that's what this devil is preparing, man. He's setting everything into play. All right, so that he can see up everybody, man. Mm-hmm. We could see that just real quick. We could also see, like the brother may mention, that he's the steps. With the digital currency, that he's leading going into, man.
Yeah, he's deconstructing the way things are now. Mm-hmm. Right, the physical cash. He's deconstructing that. Okay, he's making it to the point to where he's making it to the point to where cash is going to become obsolete. He's making it to the point to where cash is going to be no longer king. Okay. And he's deconstructing the ways of this society so he can push forth that new system, okay, where everything is going to be linked digitally. Mm-hmm. Okay, who you are, what makes you, okay, is going to be put on this CHIP, man. Okay, your medical records, all right, your social security.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be put on this CHIP, man. Hell, your currency. Okay, your CBDCs, man, central bank digital currencies, man. Okay, your funds are all going to go on this CHIP, man.
Yeah.
In which, without it, you're going to be a nobody. You're going to be an outcast in this society, man.
Yeah. Just also add, because like you was making mention of, that information, when you go into the root word of the word mark. It was grapho, which goes into the information. So that's what's going to be within that C-hip, man. That's going to be placed under the skin.
Yeah, because when you go into the word mark, it's charagma,
mm-hmm.
okay, which that is the CHIP, right? The implantable mm-hmm. device that they're going to put subdermally under your skin, okay? And you go into the root word of charagma, it's Karax, mm-hmm. which is what? It's going to be that implementation device, man. That hypodermic needle, mm-hmm. which they're going to use to put that device in you, man. All right, you got to understand, this thing is physical, man. It's not sin. It's not goddamn white women, okay? It's not goddamn 666, whatever these other camps is talking about. When a black cop arrests a black man, it's none of that shit, man. Okay? When you go into the root word of Karax, it's what? Grapho, which the brother was going into, which means what? Your written information. So this is where all what makes you you, this is where it's going to be stored at, man. Mm-hmm. That written information.
Yeah.
To where, hey, you're going to be able to walk out of stores without having to scan nothing, without having to use your card, right? Hell, they got listen, the way that this society, they got palm readers in these Whole Foods, man, where you can just scan your palm and pay for this shit, man.
Yeah.
Your palm. You don't gotta pull out physical card numbers. It's the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
Being linked to what your currency. So we see that these things are not far off. Where even Noah flaming faggot in a Ferrari, right? As the brother Yowana would say, okay. Even he came out and said, right, that hey, we want to know what's going on inside of you. We want to subliminally know you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also as you make a mention of, like we see that the technology we have now is leading into the MOTB. You know, you mentioned about the hand scan, the palm reader. Yeah, the palm reader. Right. Well, now we have it went from the card tap to where you could use your phone to tap. You know, next thing you know, you're gonna be using your like the brother mentioned, you're gonna use your actual hand, all right, to pay for items, man, to purchase items, man. You know, and we're seeing that this technology is being set up, man.
Mm-hmm. We're not ignorant, right? We're not ignorant to Satan's. Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead.
This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Right. We know his devices, his thoughts. Okay. Aaron Russo came out and said it. Total control. Okay. These people want total control over you, over who you are, man. They want to tap into your genetic makeup, in which they have been with these VAXs. Okay. Put a patent on what makes you you. So what? So you would be property of Esau Edom, man. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is the digital all. Okay, we can read it in Exodus 21. All right, where a servant, okay, a Hebrew servant, if that, all right, if he, you know, was pleased
to stay with his master.
Yeah, if he was pleased to stay with his master, okay, then what? Then he would get go to the judges, right, and then go to the doorpost, and what? He'll be stamped with an awl, man.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing that they do with cattle. Mm-hmm. You know, they stamp the cattle, you know, with particular information that shows that this farmer is the owner of this particular cattle, man.
That cattle belongs to this particular family, man.
Yeah, and that's how Esau sees the people of today, all right, as cattle, man. You know, and just like the brother mentioned about the digital awl or the awl, you know, back in the ancient world, but in today's time it's going to be digital. You know, the scriptures talks about how knowledge shall increase, you know, and we're in the end times where we're seeing the technology that we have today, man, you know. Keep reading that. Yeah. I'm going to read verse 16 and then read verse 17. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And this also shows that it doesn't matter the status of a person, man. You know, it says rich or poor, free or bond. Okay, so it doesn't matter about your status, man. But verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And just real quick, because we had a prelude of that, all right, back in 2020, all right, with the jump shot, man. Mm-hmm. You know, if you didn't have that juice, all right, you wasn't able to go into stores. If you didn't have a mask, you wasn't able to go into particular stores. Okay, you had to actually have what is it? What is that shit called? Like a card. Like a card. Yeah,
showing that you've been juiced up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
people had
laminated. Yeah,
there's certain people that had was faking it just so that they can do certain things,
Mm-hmm.
right? But he wants to set up a system to where you can't fake it.
Yeah.
That's where that subdermal tracking comes in, where he's going to put it within these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had this that I wanted to grab because, like you mentioned, that crisis, the so-called pandemic that took place around 2020, that was all just a setup.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Prelude.
Esau works with a thing called gradualism, and he's getting the people's mind comfortable with system, this system that he wants to set up.
Yeah, and like you said, people at first when it hit, people was shook. You know, it changed the whole atmosphere of the whole earth. But people start getting comfortable to that system, man.
They say things like new normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the new normal. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's the same thing. That's the same play that he's going to run this time around with the CHIP, the MARK that we've been talking about. But I've been
You got it.
I looked up this. I think it was yesterday. I had it come to my mind. It said I told ChatGPT. It says explain. I said explain the term setup for the hook, and it says setup for the hook is an informal phrase and meaning depends on context, but generally means you are being prepared or positioned to get caught, trapped, or drawn into something, often without realizing it at first. Common meanings by context, manipulation, social situations. Someone is being led step by step into a situation where they'll be embarrassed, exposed, or taken advantage of. The hook, the moment they're caught or committed. Example, they kept asking questions just to set him up for the hook. But there was more, but I just wanted to read that, right? Because this is what Esau is doing with all these different events that he's having take place in the earth. It's all a setup for that hook shot, right? They're preparing you to, they're preparing the people so that they can push forth their plan,
Right.
and that took place with the COVID-19. That's taking place with what's going on even right now, right? With this oil crisis and all that. Esau is orchestrating a lot of these different things.
With the dollar devaluing, okay, and then right underneath people's noses, okay, he's pushing forth and signing into law the infrastructure to set up, right, a blockchain, right, a record keeping, right, system to where everything, your money, everything is going to be kept record of, man. Right?
Into their system.
It's going to be in their system to where, listen, cash ain't gonna be a thing no more, man.
I had this earlier because Jake had mentioned how this C-hip is physical. And I just wanted to grab this Revelation 16 real quick to show that. It was just another way to show that. It says, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying, the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of wrath upon, it says, pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sword upon the men which had the MARK of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Right, so it's going into that cancer that these people is going to receive, that take this seed, that take the mark of the beast.
Yeah, and that also shows that it's a physical thing.
I'm gonna go into that word.
Ulcer.
Yep. This is the word ulcer.
Ouch.
Sorry, not ulcer, but a sore.
Grievous sore.
Yep. It's the Greek word helkos. It says a womb producing a discharge pus. Right. So this is what's going to be taking place with these people who take this seed. It says a sore, an ulcer, and I'm gonna go into this word ulcer. It says a sore, an open sore on an external or internal surface of the body caused by a break in the skin or mucous membrane that fails to heal.
Damn.
Right, so these people are going to have these grievous sores, these ulcers which is caused by a breaking of the skin, and that's going to take place because of that karax that we were speaking about earlier. That instrument that's going to be, or that is going to be taken, it's going to take place because of the C-hip that's going to be within these people.
And like you said, that karax is which is going to implement that charagma, man. Yeah. Okay, that karax is going to physically break your skin. Yeah. Okay, and administer that charagma to where an ulcer is going to form, man.
Yeah. Where's is it Revelations 9 that goes into the judgment for taking the seed?
Revelations 14.
14 and 9. This is Revelations 14 and verse 9, because that ulcer is one of the judgments that's going to take place. But this is the ultimate judgment that's going to take place to those that receive this mark. It says, and an angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast or his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink, because it's also, we didn't mention it, but it's also, this C-hip is going to be also put within people's heads. Right? And again, it goes into that all these things is being set up in front of our eyes. Right? You got companies like Elon Musk, Neuralink. People already have these C-hips within them, right? In their hand and in their heads.
And then Neuralink, right? That Elon Musk company ain't the only company, man. Okay, he has competitors, man, that's working, right, really with him, but against him, okay, to further this advancement, right? So people can get it in their foreheads, man, and so that it can be shown like, oh, look at these man-made miracles. Okay, this guy is able to walk again. He's able to speak. He's able to see. Okay, he's able to type on a keyboard and he ain't got no goddamn limbs. All right.
Yeah, able to do stuff with his mind, you know, and you got like different videos of people actually doing that. I think it was this one guy who had the C-hip in his brain, and I think he was like playing chess or some shit like that, like on a computer or something like that.
The human trial was his patience. He didn't have no control over none of his limbs, and Elon put the chip in his head, and he was able to control the computer. Play the game.
The human trials has already begun.
Yep.
Okay, and we see, right, this taking place, okay, where people are signing up for it willingly. All right, where people are signing up to get this CHIP in their hand willingly, okay, to get into their houses without using a key, to get into their cars without using a key, to scan in, to clock in and off work without using a punch card, man. Okay, and we're seeing it labeled as a convenience thing, but soon it's going to come to a point to where this is mandatory, man. It's either you get this shit or die.
Yeah, I'll grab that. This is Revelations.
Did you read 14?
Sorry, I didn't finish it. I'll finish this real quick and then I'll get what I was thinking about. This is Revelations 14 and 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. Right? And this is speaking about those that take that C-hip, that mark. It says, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. Right? They're going to take part in that lake of fire, right? Which is going into the nuclear destruction that's going to take place on earth. It says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Right? So that they're going to take part, those that take part in receiving this C-hip, they're going to take part in the fire that the Lord is going to bring upon this earth. But again, these things is going to be made mandatory. Right? It's going to be put within law, like we was going into earlier, that if you don't take this, you're going to be, ultimately, it's going to come to the point where people are going to be being beheaded. I'll just grab it real quick. But in these times, we have to stay strong and be faithful in Yahweh Shem Shai and trust that He's going to take care of us in these times. Those faithful is the ones that's going to be delivered from the destruction to come.
Yeah, I believe in the book of Isaiah, the 30th chapter, it talks about those that lean upon Egypt, you know, and it says those that trust in Egypt shall fall with them, you know. So anybody that takes that C-hip is going to be destroyed, man. All right, you choose this devil to be your God. Are you gonna die with this devil, man?
That's why it's important to be building our faith now. So when these hard times do come, when the time comes when we do have to reject this seed, we're gonna have the faith that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to take care of us in these times. But those that's been putting all these things off and not building their faith, they're gonna fold when Esau applies that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we seen with the jump shots.
Yeah.
Esau only applied a little bit of pressure, and those that wasn't going to take before, after he applied that pressure, they fell right into taking.
Yeah, because those the pressure wasn't life threatening. You know, during the time of not the sea hip, but the jump shot. You know, it wasn't life threatening. You know, it was just the jobs. You know, you couldn't work no more.
Or you couldn't travel.
Yeah, you couldn't travel. You couldn't work. All right, you couldn't go into stores. You know, once again. All right, but soon. All right, it's going to be life-threatening to where Esau is going, look, if you don't take this, we're going to behead you. You're going to get put to death, et cetera, et cetera. You know, and like the brother mentioned, you know, a lot of people are going to fold to that, man, to that pressure. You know, but through the Spirit, all right, the elect, all right, won't fold, man. You know, we're hoping to be a part of that number, you know, to stay trusted in Yahweh Shem Shai in the times of evil that's coming upon us, man. But you got it, though.
This is Revelations 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, nor received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with the Mashiach Yahweh Shai 1,000 years. Right, and there's a lot in this precept. Right, but the point I wanted to grab is showing that it's going to come a time where those that reject this is going to be beheaded. Right, but it also shows that there's no death for the elect. It says those that were beheaded lived and reigned with Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have the faith that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to be with us in these times. Right, and there's going to be some of us that may have to be beheaded, but there's also going to be those that stay faithful until the end. The Lord allows them to be transitioned straight from this vile body that we're in into them glorious bodies that Yahweh Shem Shai has promised us. It says, it said that there shall be some of you that shall not taste death. Mm-hmm. And the scriptures also say he shall change our vile bodies that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body. Mm-hmm. The scriptures speak about how we're going to be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. But it's all at the end of the day, it's about being faithful to Yahweh Shem Shai.
Yep.
But you got anything?
No, that was it. That's the point.
Lord's will, this video is edifying, and just showing that even these insiders, right? They talking about tokenization, digitization. This is all moving towards the system that we were speaking about through the Spirit. But again, Lord's will, this video is edifying. When to give all praises, all honor, and all glory
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash.
Again, we want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Shalom.